Welcome back to the Freaky Deaky.
There's an extra episode?
There's not.
Welcome
back.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome back to the Freaky Deaky. As you can tell, we are in different get-ups than usual. We're getting closer to Halloween. And so we've got a couple of special Halloween episodes for you, our valued listeners. Telling spooky stories, as any Halloween episode truly should be. We're not doing specific topics. We want you guys to sit back, grab your favorite bowl of candy, and let's just dive into some spookiness. Halloween, realness, 100%.
Spooky
scary
season,
stories.
chills up your spine.
Yeah.
We just kind of went over and we're like, what you think's creepy, and all of us have different definitions of scary and spooky.
True.
So
True.
we just said, hey, find a couple stories, let's share them.
Please continue. I'm passing the torch on to you. I've said my Halloween stuff. Do you have a favorite Halloween tradition? Do you do anything for Halloween? You just sit around? You're not usually working, are you?
Lately, I have been working on Halloween. So I just sit around at a desk all day and eat candy.
Yeah.
That has been provided for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way to do it, man.
Yeah.
But back in the day, I did the traditional thing.
Yeah.
Put on a costume and go trick-or-treating.
Oh. Did you have a favorite costume when you were a kid? Yeah, as a kid, what did you used to dress up as?
As a young kid, I seemed to like to be a lion. I was a lion a couple times. When I was like 7, 8, 9, or 10, I was Gene Simmons from the band Kiss a couple times. And I had this amazing makeup my Aunt Dolores put on me, including blood.
Weird addition, but all right.
I mean, that's what he used to do in concert, was spit blood.
Ugh.
Gene Simmons did. It was fake blood or something. And there were all kinds of legends and stuff like that and stories that I grew up with. But so I had that. And that was part of Kiss's showmanship with all their makeup and fire, and not my favorite music, but I was Gene Simmons twice. That's all I have.
Yeah.
And now over to Heather with today's.
I was
Trying
Gene
to
Simmons.
think.
Moving on.
Yeah.
I think my favorite costume growing up was the year I was Dorothy from Wizard of Oz. And it's because I was particularly excited about the sparkly red shoes.
Yeah.
And I felt like totally, I wasn't a redhead. I'd be a blonde Dorothy, but I rocked the shoes. So that one I remember loving. And usually for Halloween, I have kids. So traditional, pumpkins before. We go trick-or-treating. Yeah. Order pizza. We always have like Monster Mash and Thriller and dance to a bunch of music,
Ooh,
we get
Thriller.
down with the spooky season. Like October starts and I'm like already my whole house decorated. And who am I kidding? I kind of started in September. So
yeah,
I like to decorate and be all basic and
it sounds
do all
that sounds about right.
have my pumpkin spice latte and go to Target, buy decorations.
Yeah.
But yeah, basic, Halloween spooky season, Hocus Pocus, Harry Potter. What about you, Scott?
Tradition wise? Or what was like my favorite costume?
Both.
You can go with both. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we really had traditions. It was usually just we would go trick-or-treating and then that was about it. Like, I don't think we ever really watched scary movies or anything like that. It was really just get out there, get that candy and come home.
And in the grand scheme of things, that's really all that matters when you're a child.
Yeah.
The trick-or-treating.
But if I, like, as far as costumes go, I don't know. I usually kept it kind of probably Star Wars related. I remember everyone was Darth Vader. In my generation, there was at least 50 Darth Vaders walking the street with you.
Were you Darth Vader?
I was Darth Vader, yeah. I always enjoyed being the villains.
Yeah, same with my son.
Still.
But, yeah, it's true. But, no. And then also, I had a costume very similar to this when I was like 3 years old. And that picture has come up from time to time. And if I find it, I'll put it like right here. And everyone else can see that and see the side-by-side. I don't remember the exact pose I was striking, so I probably couldn't recreate it. But I think my dad was tying my shoes, so that
Dad's
helps you
gotta come up
visualize.
to finish,
Yeah. So, but I don't know. I always enjoyed Halloween, even being the person that is, believing in all the crazy and weird stuff. It should be like really freaky to me. I've always enjoyed it. I don't know, but who doesn't like going out and having strangers give you free candy? I mean, it's literally the only thing we were told as a kid not to do. We get one night where we get to do that.
Go
all
wild.
The time.
Then you find the place that hands out like the full size candy bars, and you were like winning.
Yeah, who's not going to do that?
That was the original idea behind the Purge. One night a year, you get to go out and get all the candy, and your parents actually let you eat most of it.
Wow.
Living the dream.
Then you have a candy fetish for the rest of your life. And all the companies.
Let's not call it a fetish. I feel like that's a weird.
Yeah, that's
okay. A candy.
It's a little kinky.
A candy.
Our name is Freaky Deaky, but we're not that kind, you know.
Okay. Is that candy over there?
A candy addiction.
Candy bowl away.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Candy, the original drug.
The candy addiction, I'll give you that for sure. Yeah. Not a fetish so much. I don't ever look at candy and be like, oh, fuck yeah. That's the stuff. That's just.
And everybody that's had candy knows that we've all looked at candy that way before.
I know, yeah, it's true, but we don't ever admit to it. Oh, there it is.
You see a Reese's.
Yeah.
Your heart skips a beat.
Yeah, it does. It's true. And we're ashamed. We've brought great shame to this podcast.
I am not at all ashamed. I have accepted it.
Well, there you go. 1 out of 3 podcast hosts accepts the shame involved in eating candy or sexualizing candy. I don't know.
Yeah, this episode's going to be weird,
it took
guys.
a weird turn pretty quick.
Yeah.
This is Halloween.
What's funny is some of that stuff's going to have to be bleeped out because of social media.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, because of the branding?
No, the sex.
Yeah.
He can't do anything.
Yeah. Kinky.
No fun, kinky candy talk, unfortunately, for the Freaky Deaky this year. But I mean, maybe we could jump this off with what we wanted to do from the start, and that is reading a few good old-fashioned scary stories. Who wants to go first?
Oh, that whole thing before this was a scary story.
It was a scary story.
Yeah.
One for the record books.
Yes.
I'll go.
Okay.
When my family moved into our home in 1995, all of us were weirded out. The vibe in the house was off, and certain rooms, like my parents' bedroom, felt uncomfortable. It was like the air in the room was heavy. My dad, who never believed in ghosts, didn't even want to sleep in there. As the years went on, I never felt like I was alone in the house, but the room that scared me the most was our attic, which is kind of normal. As I got older, we redid the attic and it became like the second floor apartment. The attic was broken in. The attic was broken into 3 areas. The front room was mostly storage, the second part was where I slept, and the third room was a walk-in closet. Is it going to be embarrassing when we get to the end of this episode and both candy bowls are empty and I hadn't had any?
No. I'm not ashamed of my Reese's.
It will be embarrassing, and that's okay.
Yeah. The third room always gave me the creeps. It had windows that overlooked the driveway and the main road. And every time I parked my car, I would avoid looking up at the window because I had this sinking feeling that I'd meet someone's gaze. At night, I'd wake up at 2 a.m. for weeks on end for no reason. I always had this feeling that someone was watching me from the third room, their body barely peeking out from behind the wooden door frame. I just knew it was a man. I could just feel it. I kept all my experiences to myself. After about a year of living there, I found myself in a weird conversation with my mom. My mom had always been open about her ability to see ghosts ever since she was a child. She wasn't scared of them, but she believed in them more than the average person. One night, as we sat on her bed, she looked at me and asked, "Do you ever see the man upstairs?" I met her gaze and asked, "What man?" She smiled and said, "The guy who lives in the attic. I see him every time I pull into the driveway."
Spooky.
That is pretty spooky.
That is Halloween.
This is Halloween.